The Golden State Warriors to sign Jeremy Lin this summer. As you all know, Jordan Poole was actually seen just last week training with none other than Jeremy Lin, and it has led to a lot of NBA analysts saying that Jeremy Lin could be making a comeback to the Golden State Warriors. So in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 key reasons why I think Jeremy Lin is a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors and how he can help them win another NBA championship next season. So make sure you like this video, and don't forget, if you want more Golden State Warriors content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below. Guys, 98% of you are still not subscribed, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel. But let's get into the first reason, and the first reason being Jeremy Lin is an all-out scorer. Now, what I mean by this is Jeremy Lin really does everything on offense, not just shooting, not just mid-range shooting, and not just driving, but he does all three very, very well. I think that's what really made him so versatile. Obviously, his last few seasons in the league haven't been the best, but when he came to peak Lin sanity back in the days of New York Knicks, we all know how great he was, how much of an offensive threat he can actually be if he is given the green light. And I absolutely love that about Jeremy Lin's game, and I think a lot of you love that about his game as well. Golden State Warriors was actually the first team to give Jeremy Lin an offer in order to actually be signed to a professional team. So I think it honestly is a match made in heaven if he decides to come back to the NBA and come back to the team that started it all, which was the Golden State Warriors. But when it comes to his scoring, I think he is capable of it all. He actually has a pretty good three-point percentage. He actually shoots his career at the three-point percentage of 34.2%, which is actually really well. So I think that's pretty good, especially for him. He wasn't really a knockdown all-out three-point shooter. I'd call him more of a scorer when it came to, driving inside the lane and also maybe mid-range. But to even put up those numbers, I think is honestly fantastic. He definitely adds a different play style, especially to the other 2 point guards, which is Jordan Poole and Steph Curry. As you all know, both of those players are very 3-point heavy dominant point guards, and adding someone like Jeremy Lin could add that little bit of variety for them in order to actually, really change up and have all other teams very confused on how to defend these point guards. Reason number 2 is Jeremy Lin is a high IQ player. Now, I know a lot of you may not really know why that is so important, but having a high IQ point guard can really show and really make the difference in any game. We have seen that with Chris Paul. Yes, Chris Paul has had a bit of a flop in the last playoff series that he had last season. However, I do see why Chris Paul is such a great point guard, and it's not because he's an all-out light shooter. It's not because he's super athletic, but it's because of his IQ. He is very smart when it comes to offense, how to run the offense, how to play defense, and all that. And Chris Paul only does stand at around 6'1". People have said he's only like 6'1", maybe 6'2". So I think it's honestly fantastic to see, Jeremy Lin be back in the NBA. He is a Harvard graduate, and he does have a great IQ in order to be a very smart point guard and in order to help the team win. So obviously, Jeremy Lin, if he did join the team, he would be coming off the bench. So I think he would actually provide a lot of high IQ plays to that second unit. What also plays into this is that he does have that veteran experience as well. So he has played a lot of seasons in the NBA. He is a little bit older. Now, the great thing about that is his game wasn't built off athleticism, so I still think he can make an impact in the league and also can make an impact to the Golden State Warriors team, which I think is fantastic. Now, when it comes to his stats, if you didn't know already, we're going to be talking about peak insanity. He was actually averaging 14.6 points, 6.2 assists, and 3.1 rebounds, which is really, really good, despite the fact that he only actually played 25 games and only averaged around 23 minutes. So I think Linsanity could be back, and I do think he can get back to where he was before if he really does get that game time and the games played really does start to show. He has been battling with injuries, but I think he can come back from all of that. Reason number 3 is Jeremy Lin is a great finisher around the ring. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this a separate point, even though I did talk about his scoring ability, is Jeremy Lin is a great driver to the hole. I think honestly, although he isn't athletic where he's dunking on people, he knows really well how to drive to the lane, get a bucket, and also be able to pass out of a drive. And I think that's what this team really needs. As you all know, I think the best balance between teams is when you have a mix of, people that are more predominantly inside players or drive to the ring, and a balance between that and 3-point players. So obviously you got Steph and Klay who play the 3-point, they stand out there and they're waiting for the pass. And then you have other players like Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, also Kevon Looney, who play inside. So what happens is they really attract the defense inside and dish it out to someone like Steph or Klay. Now, for that second unit, Jordan Poole is an all-out three-point shooter. His driving skills aren't really the best. He is a really good driver, don't get me wrong, but I still think that he would actually be better on the three-point line. So to add someone like Jeremy Lin to that, I think would be fantastic. Jeremy Lin could come off a pick and roll. When he comes off the pick and roll, he could have a bucket to the ring. If he doesn't, he could pass it out to the three for Jordan Poole to be wide open. So see how all those things kind of really play out. So you really got to get players that complement each other. You can't have all three-point shooters out there, because if no one's willing to drive inside or no one's an inside player, then everyone's just going to be clogged around the three as well. So I think honestly the balance between the two and getting someone like Jeremy Lin would honestly be fantastic. I think Jordan Poole even working out with Jeremy Lin is honestly great to see, because as you all know, guys, when it comes to Jeremy Lin, he's a great driver, and maybe Jordan Poole is picking up some tips for him. But when it comes to this workout, I don't want to get in anyone's bunch that, you know, it's definitely that he is going to sign with the Golden State Warriors, guys. They are just training, but obviously there's a lot of ESPN rumors going around and all that saying, oh, could Jeremy Lin make a comeback? Is Golden State Warriors interested? And like I've said time and time again, yes, it isn't set in stone whether these things are going to happen. However, guys, this is kind of how things start off. You know, sometimes it can blossom into something big where they actually do end up signing Jeremy Lin, or it could be a harmless training. But Jeremy Lin has shown love time and time again why he actually loves the Golden State Warriors organization. And I think that's honestly huge for it, and it's huge to see that, you know, he still has interest coming back to the league. I think Jeremy Lin, even though he has retired from the NBA, he has made it known that if he was going to get offered, he would be willing to accept it, and I think anyone would accept another chance at the NBA. Reason number 4 is Jeremy Lin is a great passer, and not only is he a great passer where he can find players, but he has a great vision. Okay, I think honestly Jeremy Lin knows how to find the right players at the right time. He knows how to do no look passes, behind the back passes, you know, all that great stuff, and he knows how to find the open man. I think that's very important, especially for a point guard. As you all know, Jeremy Lin's game isn't built off flash, it isn't built off athleticism, so the way he plays, I wouldn't say it's as slow as Luka Doncic, but it's definitely more on the high IQ, smarter style play. And with that comes great passing. It comes, you know, moving the defense around, seeing what's open, whether you have the bucket or whether you're going to find a man. And you see still players like that still perform very, very well. That's why Chris Paul is such a great player. He's such a great point guard, despite the fact that he had a bit of a flop last playoff series. You know, that's why I see players like Luka Doncic as well. He may not be the most athletic, he may not be able to jump high, but he's still able to give you 30, 10, and 10 a game because that he's very smart on how he plays, because he doesn't have that athleticism. And I think Jeremy Lin really does fit that mold as well. You know, he's a great player, high IQ, and his passing ability could really help out the Golden State Warriors. Now, not only am I saying that that's something Golden State Warriors is missing, because it isn't. You know, you have great passes on the team. Not many people know that Steph Curry is a great passer. You know, Klay, Draymond, you know, all these players, they are great passers and they know how to get it done. However, there isn't any harm on adding someone else, especially for that second unit. Now, the second unit, we did lose a lot of players in Gary Payton II, you know, Otto Porter, JTA, all of them. And obviously, we did sign a lot of big players to a contract. Dante DiVincenzo, Mac McClung, JaMychal Green, all that. However, what we're really missing is that, you know, playmaking guard that they really need. And I think Jeremy Lin definitely fits that bubble. You know, in his peak, he was actually averaging 6.2 assists, which was honestly really great back in his New York days. And even when he finished off the seasons with Brooklyn, he was still averaging 4 to 5 assists per game, even though he was only playing, you know, 30-25 games due to injury. Reason number 5 is Jeremy Lin still has massive potential. Now, I know this may be me just being a fanboy of Jeremy Lin because I am Asian, guys, but I still think Jeremy Lin can provide a lot for the Golden State Warriors and can help them win another NBA championship. He may not be the star of the team, he may not be back to the Linsanity days where he was dropping 25, 30, 40 points a game. However, I still see Jeremy Lin playing a huge vital role for this Golden State Warriors team, and I think he's still capable of doing that even at 33 years old. Yes, he is a little bit on the older side, but I do think he can still provide a lot. Like I've said time and time again throughout this whole video, his game isn't built off athleticism, so when it comes to his age, if only anything, guys, he'll probably be getting smarter as age goes on and probably be getting better at his game. I still think he is in a little bit of a peak of his career. 33 is a little bit older, but I think by 35, 36, maybe that's when you start to diminish. So he's still got a year or two left in his prime, I think, and I think he's still able to do that for this team. team. He may not be the star, but I think, getting him to average at least 8 points a game, 5 assists, maybe 4 rebounds is still honestly great. And we can use that, especially the fact that we lost a lot of players this season during the offseason because of, contract problems. And on top of all this, I think getting Jeremy Lin would be at such a cheap price as well. We have talked about this time and time again, where Golden State Warriors, they are in a little bit of a budget when it comes to signing players. As you all know, Draymond Green is asking for a max contract, and it's still undecided whether they will give it to him or not. But when it comes to all that, I think Golden State Warriors are looking to find cheap gems, and Jeremy Lin can definitely be that player. He can really provide a lot for this team. I think not only on the sense of, providing on the court, but even off the court, guys. He is a great, smart player. I think he's all about the team, which I absolutely love, and which I think fits the Golden State Warriors system. As you all know, Golden State Warriors really do have a system where they all sacrifice in order for one goal, which is to win the NBA championship. And I think Jeremy Lin is willing to take a backseat to these younger players and do whatever it takes, since, Andre Iguodala may be gone if he doesn't want to play another season. So that's why I think Jeremy Lin is a perfect fit. He can basically be the next Andre Iguodala for this team. He may not be playing a lot of minutes, but he can still provide a lot from the bench when it comes to coaching, showing these young players how to do certain things, especially the guards, since Jeremy Lin is very, very smart. And, if Andre Iguodala isn't going to accept that 15th spot, they definitely should give it to a great veteran such as Jeremy Lin. So let me know down in the comments, guys, what you think. Should they sign someone like Jeremy Lin? Like I said, guys, this is just all rumors from ESPN and all that. So let me know down in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Peace.